a less chaotic time in my life. I came home and just had to do a lot of cleaning, and Chong took me on a crazy walk. And then my company decided to sell it to hold two whole departments and give everybody 2 days notice. So there's a lot of corporate politics today. This is why sometimes this is an outlet for me. I'm tired of corporate politics. I'm so tired of it. It drives me crazy. This is why I'd like to do other kind of stuff. Get too involved in the corporate world too deep, sometimes it consumes your entire life. And I'm not trying to live that kind of life. But it is what it is. I just like to be a free soul, and a lot of people are at my job. Oh, I want to go to YouTube too. But they barely have any time because they just be doing all this crazy stuff. And they're always consumed. They got to keep going into work. They never have any time for themselves. I don't know. I can't have one of those kind of jobs. I'm just happy with what I do there. I make enough to not to be comfortable, but not to have my whole life consumed. They keep telling me to go back to school for nursing. I'm like, no. This is why I'm over here, and I'm prepping for Amazon. I'd rather take all my little extra money and invest in myself because in all the years I've lived, I've never invested in myself. So I'm paying for these extra dentist appointments and all this other stuff because I'm investing in my own self. Because, I mean, what do I have to show when you're old? I know how to knit. Every old person knows how to knit. So I guess in life, my aspirations are to do everything on my bucket list. This is my bucket list to be an accomplished live streamer. I mean, on my bucket list, I mean, I don't have to say I have to be popular or I have to be a superstar, just on the list. It's just on the list to cross out. And I'm kind of nice because I just pretend I'm on a telephone call talking to one of my friends. And I really don't cuss or nothing. So, I mean, so it's not a big deal. So that's what kind of, and it actually is very meditative. Because you feel like you're connecting with somebody. So it's going to be really complicated getting everything ready for Amazon. I don't know where to start. And then just to get started with all of this, my older son is having a barbecue or picnic, whatever the hell you want to call it, the day before Memorial Day because he works Memorial Day. So, which is fine. He promised me he's gonna have me home because we both work Memorial Day. I don't mind going, I guess, since I got a dog sitter and all that. But the thing is I mean, my ex husband's gonna be there. It's kind of gonna be kind of weird. Then the new husband, he just like told me that I should just. There's times in life where you gotta suck it up. I mean, he sees the kids. He's a good dad. It's just I'm gonna be stuck for hours with my ex-husband alone. That's gonna be a lot. I don't know. I might have one of those crazy vlogs like in those Survivor movies, or like This Is the End, where they go in that room and close the door and complain about each other. I might go and do a blog about some crazy stuff about, like, I don't know, me and my ex got in an argument. Who the hell knows? This is a lot of hours with people that I'm not even sure about. And plus, probably her mother is going to be there, his wife's mother. I don't really know her like that, so it's going to be awkward going. But I know he says I got to be sociable, and I really need this MacBook too. He has it there, and he's buying the extra hardware and this and that because I really got to try to do something with, like, and get on Amazon. Because the bucket list is to publish a book too. Because I invest a lot of years of my life to learn to write, so I want to try to make use of learning to write. I went to college for writing. I could have pursued something else, but I wanted something that was going to make me happy. And I just sometimes just feel like you're wasting away. So I just literally, I guess, you would say, I'm just living my best life here, and hopefully get this link set up for this book stuff. Cause the only thing is I have a big book and it's written, and I've edited it and everything. This my one book, Lily in the Darkness, but I heard they take extra money, and I'm real careful what I do with my money. So I gotta see the shares, and once I publish through them, what I get, and there's just a lot of red tape before I get to this whole entire business with Amazon. I mean, some writers get all their money, some don't, so there's probably stipulations. Because I'm saving up for my little career over there, so we'll see. I don't know. It's very complicated. You don't want to make the wrong financial choice sometimes. But for a writer, it's not bad. But that's on the bucket list too, the published book. But I gotta see, because I might just spend a little extra money, I'm thinking, on the big book. But I'm gonna publish my short stories on Amazon and just to feel the territory. Because I don't want to give Amazon the book that I literally have been writing. This might not be a spider, thank God. I don't want to give them access to what I've been writing for like 5 years. I mean, it's not as sophisticated as like Lord of the Rings and all that good stuff, but I don't know. I guess it's more modernized horror. It's kind of like in between. It's almost like an in between, kind of with a Twilight theme, a little bit, but it's more warlike because I love to write about war. That's like one of my favorite things to write about. I really love it. The wars really intrigue me. They pique my interest. All through history, there's such good wars. And people have fought for so many different kinds of reasons. Sometimes to know why people kill helps you understand people better. Because, sometimes you gotta weigh these things out. Because, like, if you said somebody killed somebody, but you never asked the circumstance, it could be self defense. Honestly. Or, like, let's say, someone told you someone murdered so and so. I mean, you don't know. That person could have been forced to murder somebody. I mean, sometimes you just can't pass judgment on these things. And when you've been through that kind of trauma, people tend to get very sensitive. I know those through psychologies. I've had a lot of psychology in my day. I used to live in school. I was in school for so long and had so many extra classes when I was younger that I honestly felt more comfortable around school than people. I really did. And it was there in all these extra classes that I found the love of writing. And writing is really amazing. It's like you can paint a picture with words. And you can, because certain words trigger certain memories in everybody's mind. It's your delivery and how you say it and everything that makes something sound interesting. A good writer can make anything sound interesting. Even I walk down the street, you can have five people say it, but a writer might say, "I was." They add more detail. A writer might sit there and say, "Well, as she walked down the street, the smell of death filled her nostrils." And it's the same thing. You just added more detail. Writers have a flair. There's a really nice rhythmic tone to good writing. And that, it takes years. Stephen King, it was, I think, late 30s that he started peaking. Writers get better with age. Young writers, I mean, when I was in college, I don't think my stuff was so deep. It was okay, it was good, but it wasn't deep. It kind of lacked experience. Once you learn how to do it, the experience kind of comes with it. And the older you get, the more experience you have because you're going by memories and you're remembering more details and you're looking at it in a third person point of view because if you think about it, your first person point of view in one event is is the past. And the past is what happened right before the event. The present is the present, the events happening. And and then your future, I guess you would figure, if you're doing a scientific correlation, that would be pretty much the two roads that you travel. Because you always see two roads, you can't see just one. And to make a decision, you at least need two. Some people are lucky enough to see three or four roads, but most people only see two. Generally, your spiritualist or anyone kind of like that can kind of see that, the more than two, but generally everybody sees two. That's called the intuition. But yeah, if you guys want a reading, I have a reading. I mean, I had a bad day. I had to smoke a bowl of my medical marijuana. I got this. So if you want me to do reading, it's fine. I just had one of these days where I'm like, wow. With between the corporate people and this and that, I just had enough today. It was it was truly too much. If our windows weren't so fancy and where someone can't jump out of them and escape, I think I might have jumped out of a window. It was that stressful. So I was like, you know what? And my anxiety shot up so bad. It was like, God, everybody was grouchy. I'm trying to just get through my day. Everybody's in this shitty mood. I'm like, wow. And I'm like, it was a lot. And everybody keeps begging me to go to up to 5 days a week again. I'm like, I couldn't never, I don't, I got real sick and I was on antibiotics for like 3 weeks. I didn't I see different nothing. You would have thought I got that, but I didn't. But because you get it from antibiotics. Ever since then, I don't know, my appetite's decreased. I just crave healthy stuff. I think my body just went back to like a virgin state. It was weird. And I feel really good. It's very weird how that happened. But I guess it worked. Sometimes you gotta try to keep yourself healthy. But I don't crave anything really bad. I still want to vape though. I don't, but I used to sneak a cig every once in a while, and I stopped doing that because I get some of my breathing was kind of like ugh, and then when I smoke a cigarette, it makes it worse, and then I cough more and everything. I think it's some of the chemicals in the cigarette, but if I smoke on my vapes here and there, I'm usually okay. I'm not bad with those, so and it does curb the because I smoked for like 10 years. The cigs and it was hard. And sometimes when I have extra $10 and I'm really stressed out, my first thing was, oh, I should go sneak a pack of cigs. I don't even think that anymore. Now I just come and live stream and knit. I don't know for what reason it seems to help my anxiety. Maybe it's because I'm doing something. That's probably what it is. But it's just weird. It's like I'm extra healthy and it was very good antibiotics. That's all I gotta say. These antibiotics, I feel like I got energy. I don't really, because you figure I still have to do my stuff on Facebook. And Facebook and Instagram, I believe, own each other. I heard somebody say the same people on Facebook own Instagram. And they think Snapchat too. So I try to do like 7 or 8 reels over there, and that's every day. And then I share like stuff from, I just been doing Instagram videos to my Chong groups because you gotta get permission and this and that. Instagram is just way much easier to share stuff with. It's instant, they don't complain. It's nothing, there's no complaints. TikTok, of course, there's always complaints if you share a watermark from TikTok. Oh, God. They get all mad, send me warnings and everything. I know better than not to do that. But there are so many rules. I mean, thank God I have a job that has a ton of them. Oh God, one of my residents just followed me on TikTok. Yeah, yeah. A lot of my followers are my residents. It's really crazy. Because they ask me, what do you do when you get home? I'm like, I'm live streaming. What do you think I'm doing? I go, this is what I do when I'm not here with you. Because I got to braid their hair. I got a care package for my one resident because she wanted a spray bottle. And I couldn't find one, but I did find this. It's like a detangler spray. And it makes your hair smell good. Then I found some perfume. I don't know. I didn't like, but it was nice. And I'm putting that in a care package. It makes her happy. I call her the boss lady because she'll follow me all around. And if I give her little things that she wants before her family gets in there and give them to her, she gets happy. And she's almost out of perfume, which means she's going to be bothering everybody until I get her one. And I don't know if I can wait for her daughter because her daughter's on vacation. So I have some. It's just I don't know. It's like one of those real subtle scents, but I like curve and the powdery scents and different things. And I have this other one that's kind of I got Love from Bath and Body, and I got this other Bath and Body, but it's a real subtle scent. And she has this other one. I think it's a Thousand Wishes, and it's so strong. And I don't know. She just keeps spraying and spraying and spraying. So I got her a nice subtle scent. And then if she sprays a lot of it, it'll be alright. So I guess that's what happened that part of the day. And they always, anyways, I think I said I trailed off again. They followed me because this lady, she was following me on Facebook. And she'd listen to all that, but I kind of stopped logging over there and all that. And she must have found me on TikTok. Next, sure, her ass will probably be over here. She might be in my next live stream. Who knows? But yeah, this is my life. I have the most boring. I have the most boring life. I mean, there's not overly exciting like how some people have a lot of friends and stuff over because I really don't. This is why I honestly decided, well, I was gonna say get a dog. I was thinking about getting a dog, but I really didn't. Like, I was preparing for a dog, but then he came into my life and a little bit sooner. But it works out good. I mean, me and Chong get along pretty well. Most of the time, he's a good boy. We were on our walk today, and we go over this bridge, and it has a real small sidewalk. But he doesn't like trucks, so or motorcycles, and he tries to jump at him. And I had his leash, and I wasn't trying to pull at him and stuff, and I yelled at him because he tried to jump in front of a dang truck. Because I guess they don't like them because they're loud, but I yelled at him pretty good this time. And he stopped and looked at me, and then I think a neighbor had heard me yelling, but he didn't say anything. I wasn't being mean or nothing. It was he literally almost ran into in front of a car. Thank God I have a good leash, because I yanked him back, and he was fine. That's where I have my prong collars on. The trainer has them sideways. Then I got a metal leash. The leash cost me a little bit of money though, but that leash lasts me with Chong. It really does, because he used to bite a little bit on it, and I went through a leather leash when he was teething and all this. So I just went ahead and paid $40 for a metal one, and it's lasted me. I don't think I ever need another leash. I'll probably have that for years. And it was on sale too. Sometimes it's better to go for quality and not quantity when you're buying dog supplies. Then today I picked up these Denta bite things, and it was like 14 bucks for a bunch of them. And it helps reduce tartar. So I thought since he has to go to the vet and everything, and I'm gonna try to get on his teeth brush too. I'm gonna start giving these things. It's supposed to freshen his breath too. And it came in a pretty decent sized package. We got a lot of them because you don't have to give them all. It's just once a day, and he's a big dog, so I'll probably like give him half. So I figure why not. But yeah, I just been going through my house because me and my husband were thinking about we want to move next year. And the thing is I want to be stuck with cleaning up a bunch of clutter when we move. last time we moved, we were there 8 years and then moved here, and my older son gave me furniture. My older son is bougie. And he got out, he went to the Navy and came out, but he was working on those fighter jets, like the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, and he went to an A school and learned all that stuff. So when he gets a job, he gets brownie points, and they always want to promote him. So he goes and buys all these couches and this and that, and he always goes, "Mom, why don't you ever buy this, buy that?" It's like, for what? Who comes over to see me? I mean, I'm either writing or working or just spending time with my dog. This is what I do. So he did give me these other couches, but Chong chewed the one couch, and he had these for, I think, a year or two. He had these couches, so I don't feel bad. So when we move out of here, I'm just gonna throw them away and tell him I don't have a couch. And I know he spent a bunch of money on a new couch set, and he seems to like accumulate this furniture. So, but yeah, he's the one that's give me a MacBook because he had to have a new computer. That's why I call him the bougie son. So hopefully, like I said earlier, hopefully my ex-husband is being a little bit hospitable because we've been without each other for over 10 years, and I've had somebody for 10 years. I mean, honestly, if anything, it would just be kind of in the room with someone that you're cordial with, but you just have ill feelings for. And it's gonna be like that for both of us, but I guess sometimes you have to do this kind of stuff. But I can't go outside and vlog if it gets too bad, and actually, social media might actually help my day. So I'm thinking about when that happens, I'll do a bunch of vlogs for Facebook because he lives out in the middle of damn nowhere. It takes him an hour to drive out, and then it would take an hour to get back. And then he promised me he was going to drive me back, so it's like we're gonna have a lot. I meant to make sure I go to the bathroom before I leave. It's gonna be fun, fun, fun. The only good part about all this is I'll get to see Brandon because he's always so busy with all his jobs and come. I mean, he's not in the Navy now. He's out now, and he just like one of the big wigs at this factory. He was doing very well for himself. So personally, I don't like to base my life on money. So to me, I mean, I think Brandon's kind of silly because he's so worried about this money, this money, and this money. Because the fact is you get a bunch of money, you're gonna get a bunch of people that want your money, and then they're gonna be nice to you, and then when you die, all your stuff gets taken, and then if you get in really bad health, most of the time, I mean, usually the nursing home will just take your house if you haven't signed it over to your family, which is kind of bad that they do this now, but they do. I mean, this world is greedy, even when you work really hard, and that's it. And some people, are gonna we're gonna die the way we die. I want to die in my sleep, but who knows? But if you're meant to die of a heart attack, you're going to die of a heart attack. I mean, you can sit there, spend every minute of your life trying to do this and that, or whatever your life goal is, doing it, and die of a heart attack the next day. I mean, it's crazy. It seems like just living on Earth. Periods like it's like having a loaded gun with Russian roulette. It's like playing Russian roulette every single day. You never know if someone will take you out. You got to stick around enough because people, if you have a kid or two, they might try to take your kid or your grandkid or yada 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 before you die and come back. And it's like, wow, I just don't understand why it gotta be like that sometimes. We just got a really weird world that we live in. And I was talking to my one resident when I was feeding her, and we were talking about the meat. I'm not a big meat eater. I would prefer not to eat meat all the time, but I get sick sometimes. So I'll eat it once in a while or drink a protein drink, but most of the time I don't at all. So, but we were talking, and there was a time in the 80s where they were cloning Dolly, which I believe she was a sheep. I think it was a sheep. I'm not too sure, but we were talking, and there's more sick people now. And after Dolly, that was a big thing. And they cloned Dolly, and they said they were very successful at cloning the sheep. So and then they went from that, and they were supposed to shut down the technology because everybody was mad about it and said we shouldn't be playing God, yada yada yada. Now they clone pieces of like, have you ever pay attention like Tyson? All the chicken breasts are the same size. They can clone individual organs now, which is kind of scary if you think about it. Now they've got to the point where you can get your, like, if you have enough money. I mean, it's for rich people. It's not for anybody that's poor because you would have to have the best insurance in the world on top of money to get that done, or know somebody that is a scientist. But anyways, they can clone just individual, like your heart. They can clone it, and they can grow it in little like incubators. And some people do it. It's very wealthy people, but like if they have a bad heart, they'll go and they have their own doctors. Their own doctors go in there and take care of their heart and yada yada, this and that. But I don't know. I think people are getting sicker because they're eating cloned meat, and I could be wrong. I mean, I don't want to be one of those weird people that tells you that they see aliens. It's bad enough to see dead people, but I'm thinking possibly with our body chemistry, certain people it seems are getting sicker than they need to be. There's people around 50, and when I grew up, there wasn't a lot of clone meat. That was just everybody, everything was natural. But now there's a lot of clone stuff, and people are sicker. I'm seeing more people coming in sick that's young in their 40s and 50s than ever now. And I'm wondering if that's a factor to be thought about because it interested me. I had a patient that was 50 years old, and he don't know what happened. He just, they come. It's like I think this clone meat triggers stuff because when you look at a DNA thing, the double helix, which we all know what a double helix is. You guys are not a uneducated crowd, but when you look at the double helix, there's dots, and all those dots are predispositions. And we're eating this clone meat, putting different chemicals in our body that came across in a different process. So there's always going to be some kind of cattail on it because it wasn't the original. So if you look at it in a cattail is what I like to I call it cattails because they go in and then they go and they kind of have a little hook and they hook on another predisposition, and I think it's bringing on like some kind of weird disease or something that you may have had millions of years ago. Because you do have stuff from that's how that pretty much that's how this goes is you have like a predisposition with those dots, and those one of those predispositions is for cancer, this or that, and we all are born with it. And I'm wondering if this clone means triggering things that shouldn't be triggered in our DNA. Because if you think about it, it's they're synthetic proteins. All of it were made from a synthetic protein, and it's actually deoxyribonucleic acid, ribonucleic. So it's a ribonucleic protein. And I'm wondering when we like some people like all these weird man-made drugs is kind of messing up our composition. I was thinking about it. I was talking to my resident, and she's not that old. She's bedridden, and she's only like, oh my God, I think closer to 60. But I think her problem was the clone meat, and I do see some younger people coming in too. And sometimes I see somebody 30, and I think when you introduce all these different chemicals and things that came in a man-made process, and you could be synthesizing the wrong proteins, honestly, because it's not natural. Because you would have to look at the process of the meat and see if it was made in the same process so they're not button heads. And when you have proteins like that button heads, it's gonna bring on some kind of change in your like a trigger. It's like they're like little bullets, and they're just kind of with all your thousand dots are picking one thing, and then things are just starting to come out. I mean, I don't really like to do anything that's not natural, even though I was horrible with the cigarettes. But I don't think cigarettes are enough to do it. I, because that's just a different kind of chemical that's gonna make your lungs all messed up. I think the trigger is when you're consuming it, you're kind of it's becoming like the whole thing. You are what you eat. You kind of share the same kind of proteins as that had, and then but it gives us nourishment, and that's why we eat it. So I'm thinking we got that, and we're trying to eat it, and this and that. But I'm thinking that the proteins when we're consuming it, it's like they're helping us because we're not hungry and we're consuming its proteins. And I think our proteins are butting heads. And when they butt heads and they're not happy because it's not really comparable, just like if you have something, you got a tummy ache when you always eat, like if, like if you have no problem with dairy and all that, and your tummy hurts. I think that's what happens with our DNA when something that extreme, like our food, is introduced. And I think that's where, in the clone meat, because if you have the meat, that's a protein, and it's supposed to help your proteins and a lot of stuff. And I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I would think that your DNA probably could mutate if you had a strong enough chemical or strong enough meat, and then you have like different patterns, and then you maybe get sicker. And maybe a lot of these diseases are from mutated DNA. Because if you touch anything or bother anything of the synthesized protein, you're going to get a mutation. So thinking, I was thinking about that, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not a scientist, but these were some of my random thoughts. And I really think I'm onto a theory with these synthesized proteins. 'Cause these are, I'm just seeing a lot of people getting sick when they should not be. And it just happens a lot. And it's really sad. And I think a part of it is the clone meat and medication for the sick. And the other part is drug use. Those would be the only things I can think of that would make sense to have that kind of correlation. Because that kind of correlation is extreme. It really is. That's a strong correlation right there. And it's not a good, and it doesn't seem to be going away. The only thing to make it go away is for us to stop cloning meat and come up with a different solution. They do have farm fresh, but it doesn't happen very often. And we really don't want to put our DNA down to another fragile state because it'll just keep mutating until it's, I don't know, till I guess you're dead or you just don't have any good genes left. I mean, we gotta think about things like that, but a lot of people don't. They're just worried about what outfit they're wearing. I don't worry about what outfit I'm wearing. I have my stuff. I'm gonna put them in storage bins, and I just take an outfit out, and I got my summer ones, and whatever looks good for the day is what I put on. So this is what I do. I mean, I don't know if it's. I mean, to me, that's a lot of thought. I mean, and then most people are talking a bunch of people and going places, and I'm going for a dog walk and working on some editing. This is what I do every day. Until I get to this picnic, and then I'll be writing out my short stories and just to get the feel for Amazon. And I'll see what I'm doing with Lily in the Darkness. With the short stories I'm going to be putting out, I don't care. I care about them, yeah, but not as much as the book. That I care about the most. And I'm just not putting that out there. Because that was a lot of years of my life. I mean, that's a marriage that's never breaking up a book. When you're a writer, you're married to your book till it's done. So I finally got it done. I was married to that book for 4 or 5 years, and I'm thinking, I just don't know. I just keep hearing all these rumors, but they say rumors about everything. There's rumors over here that that a certain percentage is taken of your pay and this and that, and I guess that makes sense. I mean, if somebody buys these networks, they have paid so much money out. And this is true. They owe, and then yeah, they may not have taxes, I guess. But then they have responsibility. They got a lot of bills. The more stuff you have, the more bills you have. That's what my mom used to say. The more money you have, the more bills you have. So I guess such is life. I mean, but I don't know. I think that I don't know how much of a percentage they take and all that, but then depending on kind of where they got to pull you out and then they got to pull their money from different people. I guess I can see it, but I guess to that question is, I mean, before you seen YouTube and you were on YouTube, you must have had a job at some point. So why not just keep your job and see where YouTube goes? Where this is where I'm at. Well, I'm in the middle. I'm getting my book ready. I mean, I can't stop working 4 days a week, and I only did that for my health. I did not do it for YouTube. I literally went down to 4 days a week because I was starting to get sicker, and then I just had little issues here and there, and then I was on antibiotics for 3 weeks. So, and I do have a high stressful job. I have a very stressful job. This is why I would like to have a job that wasn't stressful, but at the moment, I've been there 10 years. At least this relieves my stress. Even if it goes nowhere, it still relieves my stress because it gives me an excuse to finish my knitting, which goes to all the residents because this is going to be another table, a little table mat. I call them table rugs. I finished a table rug for Julia on my other string. And I just do this just because it is a stress reliever, but these get so long and I just see whose table it would fit on. And then I put little pockets in them, and I guess it is what it is because everybody all the older people in my nursing home, my residents, they all know how to crochet, but no one knows how to knit. It's weird. You would think with all those guys there'd be one knitter, but there is not one knitter. None at all. It's very weird. I just been doing one simple knit stitch, but I was thinking about on my day off looking at the purl stitch and a couple ones because you gotta kind of move up the ranks with knitting. You gotta get really good at one stitch and then go up, and I mean there was a double back one, and I'll just like once I'm kind of used to this, so when I finish this table rug on my next one, I'm gonna look at my knitting people. But my resident said it's harder to knit than it is to crochet. And it seems to me sometimes there's a lot of extra holes. Because with knitting, you have the needles and you're gauging out. And I like my thinner ones because you can make really good scarves with them. And you could do nice hats. And doing it in this kind of order where it's just hanging, you can put them together and then you get yarn needles and sew them together and you can literally make anything and it blends it. And yarn needles aren't even sharp. I do have a bunch of them. The edge isn't sharp. I'm just not one for dealing with a sewing machine and trying to hurt myself and everything else. I can't do it. It's a lot. I knew I was going to get someone to show me how to sew. I know how to sew by hand, but I don't really know how to use a sewing machine. I don't. And sometimes it's like when you're doing sewing machines, it's like you gotta do big projects to make curtains for your house or this or that. I mean, I'll see. I'll wait once we move and then get like a sewing kit, and then I'll just start making curtains and different stuff once I do that. But to have a little thing you like to do that's useful, handy, It's always nice because kids like knitted stuff. You always have a present for an old person or a young person with knitting. Little kids love it, and older adults love it too. I don't understand. I really, really don't, but it's what it is. But I think that crocheting looks harder than knitting because my stuff stays on a needle. So if it's staying on a needle, to me, it's you don't have to. You got more freedom where you can stop it, put it in a bag, and then you got to sit there for 15, 20 minutes because you're doing everything with your one hand with crocheting. I just figure if you're doing some like live streaming, knitting just makes sense because it's relaxing, it passes the time, and you can't get in trouble for stream within a stream because your background is knitting or if I'm outside. And I mean, it's an activity, it's the most boring activity, but you can make some pretty things with this. Around Christmas time, I'm thinking about starting after I make this one more table work for my other resident. Thinking about starting some nice like pot holder sets for people, and this gonna be their Christmas presents. I'm gonna make all these like pot holder sets because this is pretty thick yarn. I just gotta. I think this would be nice, and I'm just gonna put kitchen set. And people keep this because it's you wash them by hand. You just rinse them out, or you just soak them, rinse them out, and hang them, and it's washed. That's the thing with yarn. If somebody doesn't have access to a washing machine, that's what happens. Just, but so I give a lot of people yarn stuff because my one resident gives me a lot of yarn. So I make her stuff because I need something to do to calm me down. And it is very calming when you're doing this kind of stuff. So, but if you guys want a reading, I have my cards. I really do. It's just I'm not gonna sit there and be like some of these TikTok readers and just be acting like I have all these people in the stream. Someone in this stream is this, someone in this stream is that. You can't do a tarot reading like that. It has to be a willing act from a person, and you have to find out what they want to know. You can't sit there like some of these TikTok people over there, because I'm on TikTok too, Chong the dog. and they're in this crazy mystic clothes with their little hat hooded things all wrapped around their head and stuff. It's crazy. They look like a voodoo priest over there giving out readings. I don't know if I would want a reading from something that looks like a voodoo priest. And then they just look all serious and like they're going to do a death reading all the time. It's like, oh my god. My friend Katrina would be watching this lady all the time over there, and I'm like, do you even trust her? She probably has the darkest people for her spirit guides. I don't know if I would want somebody that was that weird and darker. It just seems like if they could do that, they got some weird energy. You would probably want, I mean, for me, I would want, when I have questions, I don't know the answers to my own questions, really. And I don't. I'm not, I see what I see, but I think they see some real dark, crazy stuff. So I don't know. Or they're faking it, one of the two. They could be faking it. They seem over dramatic about all this. It's hard. You gotta kind of pick up on some kind of energy, even if it's somewhat, and you really gotta try to focus. And how do they know? Was I don't know that there no one's that good. That's all I'm saying. Nobody is that good. I think so. A lot of them are lying. I really do. To me, I see what I see. I have pretty decent people that are my spirit guides. Generally, they're real nice people. The one is Miranda. She used she died about I don't know about 200 years ago, and she hasn't passed on. I don't know why, but she just claims that she's waiting for the right time. And sometimes, it's a willing choice if you want to pass on. Some people's souls hang on to the one they love is dead, especially if they died and they were married. This is what happens. So, but Miranda's been dead quite a long time, but she died young in trauma, and her dad threw her down the stairs. So, but she is very insightful, and she used to be an actual witch when she was alive. She just died young. So maybe she just needs to make her peace with whatever it is, and maybe sometime soon. She tells me she's waiting until I die to pass on. But I like to have good, reputable people that I listen to for my spirit guides. My spirit guides are usually the martyrs or the victims, and they tell the truth. They're not sinister. They're anybody can talk to anything sinister, even if they're living. So my people are pretty good. They tell you good truth, but sometimes they don't tell me what I would like to know because then they say I want to know too much. But it is what it is, really. I mean, life gives you a certain roads to follow. Sometimes it gives you many roads. I feel in this life I was given a lot of avenues in my life. I've lived a lot of different lifestyles, but I always wanted to be an artist, and I feel that I'm getting that now because I was meant to be married when I was younger. So I believe now it was always meant to happen. I'm not even upset that Amazon is coming through now because maybe if it would have happened sooner, something bad would have happened. So I'm okay with it. And at least by now, I won't make a jackass out of myself because all my writing will be better. So, and because I do always strive to be better. Because if you stay in the same stale point in your life, you just feel like you're getting all messed up in life. I mean, you're alive, so you might as well try to make the best of it. Right? That's my philosophy. If I'm here and I'm living and breathing and I'm bored, I just come over to YouTube and because sometimes it's easier to live stream here than it is on Instagram and Facebook. At least people are polite, and even if people aren't polite and I got a scammer troller, at least the comments get taken out. They get hidden, and generally everybody's very polite, and I like that it's polite. I really do. Polite. I really am. I'm a fan of politeness. I really am. I've always been that way. I've always been polite, and I like polite people. I'm just a very peaceful, laid back person. And sometimes I'm on here and it doesn't feel, I'm almost about an hour and it doesn't even feel like an hour. But on Facebook, I don't know, it's just everybody, you just get a weird vibe on Facebook. I get the weirdest vibe on Facebook. I always feel like a piece of meat. And and my stomach gets all weird. Whenever on Facebook, I get the weirdest energy over there. And then it just like, and then I gotta breathe just to relax sometimes. And it feels like you're nervous, but you're not. It's weird. It's just like, I don't know. It's just you get a vibe. It's just the vibe I get over there. I've been doing a lot of Chong inspirationals, though. I do those over there, where I try to do like my goody two shoes stuff. But the thing is I'm not a goody two shoes. I'm very polite and things like that, but I'm not a. I'm some. I could be a little misfit when I want. So I really don't break any rules, but I have my own mind, and I'm gonna do things in the order I want them to do them, and that's it. And I'm gonna try to do makes me happy until I die. I figure I've seen my death. I'm gonna die when I'm around 100. I know it's gonna be 100 something. It's gonna be like I think 105 or 106, something like that. So I figure I got a lot of years to go. And I need something to fill these years. And here's the husband. So I'm gonna let you guys go because he's gonna be listening to all kinds of stuff on YouTube. And
Chong, what did you do?
I was live streaming and he always asks like a crazy dog when I'm live streaming because I took him for his long walk and everything and he just wants more. So I put the cats in the room and put Chong in the cage.
Oh, okay.
And it's a lot more peaceful. Alright, folks. This is a goodbye from Chong the dog. And I will tell you about my crazy day and all my trivial problems tomorrow and all my crazy thoughts. And have a good day.